So within the graphite market, there has been so many changes that are affected mainly by geopolitics, but also increase in capacity, oversupply, competitiveness between synthetic and natural. So this has definitely been affecting general supply chains within the graphite market, especially for battery active anode material. So historically, yes, graphite used to be used in the steel industry, but because of the increase in demand for lithium-ion battery, especially with graphite being like a very big component in terms of mass within a lithium-ion battery compared to all the other cathodes chemistries, it has caused that increase in concern for supply chains and the removal of reliance on Chinese supply. So yes, China is the largest producer, and in terms of also processing, and they have also taken up also within the synthetic side, some market share from natural. Outside of China, a lot of the announced projects, they're mainly related to natural graphite active anode material, but this is mainly coming from small operations, mining sites. Junior miners, they have to undergo a lot of qualification in terms of being able to be used in these tier 1 active anode materials for OEMs. So that is a very big issue in terms of the progression of these projects. Also, when looking at the different mine sites that have been announced, when looking at a graphite mine, flake size is important, especially if you want to produce material going into the active anode material. And not every mine is the same. Flake ratio distribution is a concern. Infrastructure, energy, even processing, it becomes all of these multiple constraints whereby investments starts to slow down even the progression of these. So in most cases, you get a lot of investments for vertically integrated operations instead of like just one mine going into the graphite market. Whereby in China, the big development is synthetic, cost competitive. Synthetic is now even becoming much more cheaper, and that has definitely taken up a lot of market share already. And as a resultant, there has been that competitiveness between both markets, and we see this something that has been growing, and long term it will still continue to grow. And then I guess from an EU perspective, the biggest concern, especially why isn't the European Union looking into producing synthetic, even though they have the feedstock that is required to actually produce synthetic. Energy is a very, very big concern when looking at production of electrodes or any synthetic material going into active anode material. So because of that constraint, there is a much more calm reaction whereby the EU, they don't actually have a lot of anti-dumping duties or tariffs or geopolitical involvement in stopping a lot of imports from China, where else in the US there has been a lot of those announced at the moment, and as a resultant this has been changing the graphite supply chain.